Cool. First of all, welcome to the Q&A. I'll be answering various questions. I think you're in like 2 of them, including this one that we're gonna ask first. Anyway, this is in thanks to 4,000 subscribers. Pretty awesome. YouTubes? Yeah, wow. Pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you guys for following along. Anybody that's new, anybody that's old, I really appreciate you being here. And of course, you guys know that I like your feedback. So if you have any requests for videos, any extra questions, leave them below. We're gonna get to the Q&A. Do you have the same results on your cut that you had on a normal diet? Do you lose fat as fast as before? You've been through like a slight cut at the beginning of this year, so.
I don't stick with cuts very long, but the cuts that I do go on, they work almost right away. I start seeing changes pretty fast. But I don't know if I'm a normal body type or I'm not. I have no problem cutting.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like the new food choices, like the vegan diet, do you feel like your body responds better to cutting that way?
Yeah, I mean, I still eat junk food in that sense too.
But you still lose fat, really.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I honestly feel like, okay, I went through a time to where I was eating a ton. Remember, when I was getting my period back. Okay. I was eating a ton, but, okay.
Oh, now Sophie has it?
I was eating a ton, and I feel like I should have gained like 20 plus pounds with the amount of food that I was eating. When I did log it in MyFitnessPal, it was like 3,000 plus calories on some days, averaging at least 2,600 calories a day, especially whenever you're eating a ton of like beans and greens and veggies and all plant foods, and then some processed stuff here and there. But I feel like I should have gained a lot more weight. Just knowing my body and going through periods of eating a ton of food and then dieting, I know how my body responds to tons of food. So I feel like I should have gained a lot more weight than I did. I don't know if that shows that, you know, your body responds better to plant-based foods, but I do feel like this cut that I've been on recently, I've been able to lose fat relatively easily with the amount of food that I'm still eating, because I now varying between like 1,900 to some days 2,400 calories, and I've been losing body fat. You know, of course my activity has increased, but I don't know. So I feel like maybe I lose fat a little easier than I did before, but it's hard to say. I can tell you that I feel a lot better now.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I just feel better. I don't feel greasy.
Yeah, like even whenever we eat junk food, like when we have vegan pizza that we did our taste test of, whenever we go out to eat, like when we went to eat the fast food place, I had that double cheeseburger with fries and those little tenders, and then you had the chicken sandwich.
Whatever else.
Yeah, if I had eaten the equivalent of animal product foods of that, I would have felt like absolute doo-doo. I was full, but I didn't feel like I needed to wash my face. Didn't feel just sluggish and miserable. I don't know, it's neat to feel the difference in how those foods affect your body. So that's more important to me than losing fat faster. This next question, you can go about your business. It's kind of more for me.
I get that. I get the drink.
Yeah. I'm a 16-year-old. I've been in the world of fitness for 3 years now. First of all, you're very, very young. So I really want big muscles like you. I was wondering what you would recommend for my vegan diet and how I should go about gaining muscle. First of all, you being 16, my encouragement would be not to place your self-worth and your emphasis on how you look. You've got so much time to focus on aesthetics if you want to. There's so many more important things in your life right now, I'm sure. I encourage you to be living your life and enjoying time with friends and school and whatever else you're doing.
Yeah.
Be active. You know, I don't know if you play sports, whatever you enjoy, just do what you enjoy. Focus on eating foods that nourish your body, you know, not surviving off of junk food. When I was in high school, I went through periods I wouldn't eat breakfast, like I would eat rice for dinner. So focus on eating foods that are good for your body. If you want to get into some strength training, I recommend finding a good coach or a good trainer to help you out, you know, somebody at your school, and just take time to learn about what's best for your body in the long term. So 10 years down the road, you know, think about what's going to help set you up for success and health and just enjoying life in the long term. As far as muscles go, it comes down to just eating enough. It really does. Whenever I didn't eat near enough whenever I was young. I was playing tennis and we were doing, you know, several hours of workouts a day. Sometimes I would work out when I got home, and I just wasn't eating enough. And, you know, I got really thin and I was just not healthy. So my encouragement to you, number one, would be just enjoy your life. You know, focus on healthy foods and a healthy mindset and setting yourself up for success in the long run. Because if you get so focused on aesthetics and dieting right now, it's not going to be good in the future. I promise you, coming from somebody that's been obsessed with weight and dieting since I was about 13, 14 years old. Set yourself up for a lifetime of just dieting and focusing on, you know, your self-worth being on the scale or what you look like. So that's my encouragement to you.
Okay, yeah, don't put your whole life around a muscle. Obviously, it's all about strength training, as you mentioned. The biggest thing is actually to find something that you love to do and do it well. A lot of times muscles will come, if you're 16, I mean, muscle development comes when you're past your mid-20s a lot of times, and you start accidentally finding muscles. And so, you know, we found climbing. There's a girl named Ashima, I think is what it is, and she's the best female climber out of New York in the world. And she's, I think, 17 now, something like that. And she's gonna look probably amazing later on down the road. But right now she just looks like this little 16-year-old or something, you know what I mean, just really tiny, but she's killing it like all around the world. So find something that you love and do it well and just have fun, right?
Agreed. I know macros are really personalized, but being vegan, do you keep your protein intake low and higher macros for fat and carbs? Honestly, tried a little bit of everything when it comes to this. So right after my show, I really wanted carbs, obviously, because my carbs were low. So I had my coach adjust my macros to slightly lower protein, lower fat, and higher carbs, because I just wanted carbs. I wanted fruit, I wanted grains, I wanted potatoes, whatever. I did that for a while, and I don't know if it was just a combination of post-show and maybe just the lower fats, but I just wasn't feeling satisfied. So I was overeating on protein, I was overeating on fats. So things like protein sludge, seitan, and tofu, like I would eat extra protein. So over time, it didn't really work for me, the whole like crazy low carb or low fat, low protein, high carb. I just didn't feel as satisfied as slightly higher fat, higher protein. So I actually keep my fats pretty moderate and carbs moderate. I guess slightly higher than what I would have done. And protein's pretty high right now, and I love it. My protein is at 156-ish grams, fats at 50, and carbs vary, honestly, depending on the day, depending on how I feel. So as of right now, I don't. I actually have a pretty high protein, moderate fat diet, and pretty decent amount of carbs. Just, I don't know, it really just depends. I know some vegans that prefer high carb, low fat, low protein. I know vegans that eat, just like I do, higher protein, moderate fat, moderate carbs. It just depends on what you prefer. You know, I don't recommend, if you go vegan, I don't recommend just going crazy high carb, because you might not respond well to carbs. I know some people that get kind of sluggish on higher carbs. I myself, if I have too many carbs, I just feel not great. Getting fats and protein is a little easier, I think, as far as volume goes. But yeah, so I don't do low fat, low protein, high carb as of right now. I don't know, maybe in 6 months I'm gonna start craving carbs again and go high carb, lower fat for a while. It just, you know, there's kind of an ebb and flow, and you have to find what works for you in the time. You know, ride it out as long as you can, and then make tweaks as you need to. So that's my recommendation for that. Do what works for you and what you can see yourself enjoying long term. Had any more struggles about binging or eating a certain amount? Not near as bad as they were in the past. As far as binging goes, like full out binging, I don't remember the last time that I actually like binge ate. It might have been post show. So earlier this year, I think I remember vlogging about a day that I just ate a ton, but I don't think it was like a full out binge, like make myself sick kind of thing. So that's awesome, because whenever I was binge eating regularly, it was weekly, like it was a weekly thing. But I know that flexible dieting has helped so much with this, and being able to know that even if I do go over, it's fine. You know, I don't have to think, okay, this is the last time that I'm going to get to eat these things, so I'm going to eat all of them. You know, I think, sure, I went over my macros. I went way over my macros sometimes, but if I do want this ice cream, I'm just going to fit it in tomorrow and pretend like today never happened. Like, that's kind of the mentality that I have now. Feeling guilty about eating a certain amount. This past weekend I did eat a little extra, and I started to have those feelings of I shouldn't have eaten that much. Oh man, that kind of undoes some of the progress, and I started to have those guilt feelings creep in. But I had to remind myself that this isn't something temporary. This isn't a contest prep. I'm not pushing for these, you know, really, really lean results. I'm not pushing for this crazy physique. And things are going to happen, and I'm going to have days where I go way over, and I'm just going to have to keep going. You know, if I spend all of my time and energy beating myself up, it's not going to do me any good. It's not going to make things any better. It's not going to change the fact that I overate. So I try and accept that and just move past the guilt, you know, just get it out of my mind and change my focus. So whenever I was starting to feel a little guilty about overeating this past weekend, I readjusted my focus and we played a game with my family. You know, it's just not just sitting and stewing with negative thoughts. It's changing your mindset and thinking about the things that are more important than eating a little extra food, because there are so many other things in life that you can focus on.
What is your favorite Disney movie? This is a two-parter also, or kind of a three-parter. What is your favorite Disney movie? If you could wake up tomorrow with any talent or ability, what would it be and why? And do the same for superpowers. So my favorite Disney movie of all time is Lion King. Hands down, Lion King. If I could wake up with any talent or ability, I would be able to make anybody happy. Like, no questions asked. I'd be able to be like, bing, you're happy. That's it. That would be my talent or ability. That's kind of a superpower too, isn't it?
Kind of. It's like the dude from Twilight.
Mind control? I don't really want mind control though. Like legit superpower? I don't want to say to fly.
But
I would
that'd
have.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would. It would be really cool. There's Matt.
Oh, hi.
That would be really cool, but I feel like that's kind of cliche. So either to fly, or if that's not good enough, then super strength, which I guess is still kind of cliche. What about you, Matt? Favorite Disney movie?
Look, I like Mulan. Is that weird?
No.
I like that one.
Right, that's the noise. What talent or ability? Oh, okay, legit, like talent. Be able to sing.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I'm gonna go with that.
Oh.
You already said one earlier, so
I
that
guess
one's mine.
be able to sing, and then the superpower
That
would be
one's
to
mine.
make anybody happy. Superpower.
I want fly.
Fly. Cool.
Yeah, Matt
That's
uses
that.
fly.
Matt uses fly.
I wouldn't mind some help on eating an 80% raw diet. It's not entirely out of choice. I just suffer with a hypersensitive stomach, so even if I wanted to do a normal vegan diet, I couldn't anyway. My problem is that I don't 100% enjoy raw foods all day. Any help would be great. My concern with this initially is your digestion. Are you 100% sure that all cooked food of any kind causes digestive issues? That's the first thing that you would probably need to evaluate, because most likely you don't have to eat raw foods all day, every day. And I'm never an advocate. If you don't enjoy a certain way of eating or certain foods, don't eat them. Don't include them in your diet. So if you don't want to eat a raw diet 100% or even 80% of the time, then don't eat a raw diet that much, because it's not something that's going to be sustainable. I think initially what you could first do is figure out what exactly causes the digestive issues, because just speaking from personal experience, I had some digestive issues when I was eating a ton of fruit. So I don't know if that's a common thing for people, but I think it might have been all of the fiber intake, and certain fruits like pears, for whatever reason, cause more digestive issues for me. Maybe initially I think like the elimination diet or something, where you keep super simple foods, but you have cooked foods, things like plain rice, like white rice, just a starch, plain white potatoes, and then you slowly, so you cut basically a bunch of things out, things that usually cause inflammation, so certain fibrous foods, if you're not a vegan, you know, dairy products, sometimes it can be gluten, so I would highly encourage you to try and find the culprit of the digestive issues before just jumping into a raw diet, because that's quite, I don't want to say extreme, but it's quite a different end of the spectrum from what most people are used to and what most people can thrive off of. I know just a handful of people online that enjoy eating mostly raw or completely raw. I don't know many people that it would fit into their lifestyle, that it would be something that they would enjoy long term. So definitely find out the culprit of the digestive issues. Sometimes it could be your little microbiomes that are in your gut that just need some healing. So taking things like digestive enzymes, having things like kimchi and sauerkraut, a lot of those cultured foods that have the live cultures in them can help restore the little microbiomes or whatever they're called back to normal. So definitely try researching gut issues and gut health before jumping onto a raw diet, because in certain cases that could possibly make it worse. I'm not saying it's going to make it worse, but in my case, I think that whenever I was having digestive issues, going raw would have made it so much worse, because fruit was actually one of the causes of some of my digestive issues at the time. So definitely try and figure that out before jumping into a raw diet. And it sounds like that even if you do eat more raw, it might not be something that's the best for you, since you've said yourself that you don't really enjoy eating a bunch of raw food. So yeah, that's my advice for you.